Hello and welcome to our guide on all things Luminar Neo, as we'll be covering everything from the installation process, adding files to your catalog, working with presets, and we'll also be going through a few editing tutorials as well, so we can take a look at a range of tools available within the software itself. So without further ado, let's get started. So if you've purchased Luminar Neo and have it downloaded, it is time to get it installed. I'll walk you through the process, but if your download hasn't started automatically, head over to your account, My Software, and download it from there. And also, if you wish to know the system requirements for running Luminar Neo, you can find them by heading over to the FAQ section of the website and searching for system requirements, and then here you'll find the information for Mac and Windows users. So here is the installer here. I'm on Mac, but it will be similar for Windows. What we first see is this screen here, and it gives us the option to download the Luminar Neo package itself, but also some plugins for Photoshop and Lightroom. Now we're going to be going into those later on and how to use them, but for now, make sure they're checked and we can then go ahead and install. And then once it's done that, you may see a screen which requires your password for your computer, not for your Luminar Neo account, but for your computer itself. Go ahead and enter that in, and then you are ready to launch. So when you first open up Luminar Neo, and before you can even get started, you will need to enter your account details for Luminar Neo for Skylum. So go ahead and enter those in, and then you're ready to get started. So let's talk about the couple of ways in which we can add photos to our Luminar Neo catalog. We can either click the Add Photos button here, top left, which will then open your files, and then you can locate the file that you want to work on within the computer. And for our Apple Mac users, you can make use of our handy drag and drop feature. All you need to do is simply drag an image from your files over to your catalog window. Just make sure you're on the catalog window to begin with. Another handy feature we have here is if you have a folder of photos, you can simply drag that folder onto the catalog window. All of the photos will then import to your catalog, but not only that, it actually keeps it all inside of a folder, nice and neat, keeping all of your catalog tidy and organized. Now let's take a look at the interface itself. So we're inside of the photo catalog now, and over time, as you import more images, you'll see them here in their latest state, which basically means if you've edited them, they'll appear as such. Otherwise, they'll appear in their original raw form. Alongside this window here, this catalog window, we also have the sidebar, which is home to any albums you've made. So you can keep your workspace tidy and easy to navigate by creating separate folders for your shoots. You'll also find other folders here, such as recently added and edited, and even a trash folder where in case you accidentally delete a photo, we've all done it, they'll go to the trash folder first, so you can go and save them if you need to. Very, very crucial. Right, so now that we've done that, let's check out some of the other windows that we've got. So next we have our preset window. Presets allow you to edit photos with just one click, and there are presets made readily available for you as soon as you download Luminar Neo, so you can get started with these straight away. Presets, they're usually applied before your edit, using them either as the finished article straight away and exporting them from there, or you can use them as the foundation from which to work from. Continue editing from that state, using them as a jumping off point. What Luminar Neo will do is analyze your photo and make suggestions based on the content of your image. You can see for this photo here, including nature, that we are suggested a nature preset pack, which is very useful. Otherwise, you can head down the toolbar on the right here and run through the catalog of presets that are available, but there are more for you to choose from on the marketplace, but we'll talk more about that later. So to apply a preset, all you need to do is simply click on it. However, that will make changes to your photo. So if you don't want to do that just yet, you can actually preview each individual preset before applying it. And all you need to do is hover your mouse over each individual preset. So don't click, only hover. And there you can see that we can preview each preset without making permanent changes to our photo. We can also adjust the strength of the preset. So using this slider here, I can take that all the way down, and you can bring that in subtly if you wish to. We also have some icons here. We have undo on the right with the arrow, but you can also use the heart icon here to favorite your presets so that you can locate them quicker the next time that you come to edit a photo. They'll be under your favorites column just here. I can also work with this preset, including viewing the tools that it's made up of. So if I head to the edit window at the top of the screen here and head over to edits again on the right side, all these tools are what make up the preset. So I can edit each individual component of the preset, or I can add my own edits on top by heading back to tools and using any of the available tools within. So let's take a look at the bar at the bottom of the page here. We've got a couple of options. We can revert our image back to its original state, its raw form, or we can even save our changes and use them as presets for other photos later on. But for now, I'm going to head over to the presets panel again, into favorites, to quickly access a preset here so I can show you these other options. We've got the before and after window slider here, which is really cool, or we can use the eye icon here to see a overall before and after. And then finally, we've got the options here to adjust the size of the image on our screen, as so. Put that back to fit to screen. And then finally, the two options here on the bottom left, we can like an image, favorite an image, or reject it. So if you're in a state of reviewing a shoot, you can mark them as such there. But for now, I'm going to revert my image back to its original state so that we can get on with some editing. So now I'm in the editing window here, and I'm going to work with this new image. And what I'll do is apply some of the tools from each section from the right-hand side here of all the tools available in the software. First of all, let's go ahead and work inside of Develop, and it's inside of here that you'll find a lot of the essentials that you'll need. So I can work on the exposure of the image, including the contrast. And there is also the tone curve tool that I can work with. So I can adjust the highs and the shadows here, and also the mids, bring those up a bit. Like so. I can also adjust the sharpness in here, add a touch of that. And finally, let's also add some of the temperature. You can actually adjust this here so you can make it cool or warm. You can do this inside of your develop options, but there's another place that we can do this as well. And that's the same with saturation and vibrance. So next we've got the erase tool here. I simply use the brush tool to highlight anything that I don't want in my image and click erase, and that will get rid of that for us like so. Nice and easy, quick and simple. Finally, in this section, we've got the color tool. Here we can use the saturation, the vibrance, but we've also got HSL, which stands for our hue, saturation, and luminance. So we'll go through each one. Basically adjust any color channel in our image like so. And let's also look at vignette as well. So this will darken the corners of our image, which will draw the eye straight into the center. You don't want to apply this too much. Usually a subtle amount is fine, like so. And there we go. Right, next let's go onto the landscape tool, or landscape tools I should say, and we can then look at the landscape tool within the landscape section. So we've got a few options here, and this particular tool is great for bringing out the richness of the warm tones by using the golden hour tool here. And we've also got the foliage enhancer as well. So if you've got a lot of greenery going on in your image, then this tool is particularly useful. We've also got the water enhancer there as well if you've got any water in your image, which I don't here. So let's move on to the next section, which is creative. There are a lot of cool tools in here, and I advise you to go through and try each individual one out so that you can understand what it does for your image and see if it works for your style of photography. I'm just going to use the film grain tool for now and apply some of that. And then we've also got the portrait section here, which basically will be your best friend if you do a lot of portrait photography. You can save a lot of time with the tools available in here. We'll actually do a whole separate edit just for that later on. So let's go to the professional section and we'll work with the color harmony tool, which is great for color correction. And inside of here, you can work with your temperature, but not only that, you can also work with the tones within your temperatures. And then we can work on the color balance. So within our shadows here, I'm going to quickly edit this. And what I'm going to do is lean into the cooler tones for the shadows, and the same for the mids. And then I'm going to create the opposite effect by going into the highlights and leaning in to the warmer tones. And that's because a lot of our highlights, especially in the trees, are warmer. So that balances everything out like so. And I can look at a before and after here of that tool in use. And I think that's doing a fine job. And let's look at a before and after with the slider as well. Yeah, that's looking great. So once you've become familiar with those tools inside of Luminar Neo, there are a range of advanced tools that you can use as well that actually make use of AI. And this is where things get really cool. So let's take a look at those. So we've got the sky AI tool here. And as you can see, the sky in this image is a bit blown out. It's not the best of conditions. What I can do is completely replace that sky. So I want to add a nice sunset looking photo here. So let's take a look. These are all the options that are available for me. We've got dramatic sunsets here, which would look really epic. Let's take a look at this one. I'll add a few. So there we can see, as you might notice as well, it's relit the image. We'll go into that in a bit more detail in a moment. Let's take a look at this one. That one looks pretty cool. Or we've got this one here, and that one looks really good. That's the one I like the most. So I'm going to go into the options here, and what I can do is adjust the sky and make it look perfect for my image. So the vertical position here, we've got the global as well, which adjusts the mask, basically the sky behind all the individual components within my image. And you can refine that as well to make it blend seamlessly with your photo. And then we can also relight our image as well and make it all look much more natural. I can also adjust the warmth of the sky and the image, make them blend together a lot better. And there we go. So let's close that. Now let's take a look at the Enhance AI tool. And this is my best friend here inside of Luminar Neo because it edits my photo pretty much always exactly as I want it. Of course, I can introduce more strength of this tool into my image. You usually don't need too much. Next, let's take a look at the Relight AI tool. And this is pretty cool. So brightness near, you can see that it's adjusting only the brightness on this low wall in the front here, not the rest of the image. And then we've also got brightness far, which is doing everything behind the wall. So it's analyzing my photo and is allowing me to adjust the brightness compared to the depth of my image, which you can also adjust, by the way, as well. You can adjust the depth. Next, let's take a look at layer properties. So there's a few things to discuss with this tool right here. Let's go into masking first. There are a few options in here. We've got background removal. So if you're working maybe with product photography or something like that, background removal will allow you to have a PNG clear image of your product, for example. There are other masking options available as well, but what I want to do is take a look at the masking options available within an editing tool. So I've got the brush tool here inside of Develop, and what I will do is brush over the section that I wish to edit, like so. And then if I head back to adjustments, and let's go to light, I can increase the exposure and only affect that portion of the image in which I've used the brush tool. And that's it for the masking. So let's now go over to layers. So we're going to still work with our layer properties here, back into layers. And you can see that these are all layers that I can apply on top of my image. So we've got some light leaks here, for example. And that's now applied itself on top of my image, but it's a completely separate layer. So we've got different blending options here. And you can see that we've got, the screen seems to work the best, and it usually will always work the best, but you can actually adjust the opacity of that blend as well. So you can introduce it subtly if you wish. And then let's apply another one, because you can actually stack these layers on top of each other. Again, they're all still separate from one another. And I can also use different mirroring and flipping options here to adjust how the position of this layer. And again, we'll adjust the opacity. And if I want to get rid of it, I can just simply press backspace on my keyboard to delete those layers. So I have a portrait to work with here. So I'm going to head down to the portrait section, and let's work with the face tool first. So it's using AI and it's detecting the face within my image. So if I adjust the face light slider here, it's only affecting the face. So I'll add that. And then within the face, it's also able to detect the eyes. We've got eyebrows, the mouth, teeth, all of that has been detected separately. So I'll do some quick adjustments here. We've got the eye whitening and eye enhancer. We improve the eyebrows, and you can see it's only affecting those portions of the face. We see it before and after. There we go. And so this is saving you a lot of time, not having to brush all of these elements ourselves. We've also got the skin tool here to adjust for any imperfections and to also smooth the skin. So I'm going to increase the amount here, and that's going to smooth out the skin for me, like so. And we've also got shine removal as well, or to diminish the shiny portions of the face. And then we can also get rid of any skin defects as well. So we click on the removal and that can detect some skin defects for us and remove those. Let's take a look at before and after of the overall of this portrait shot. And that you can see I've done a lot of work with barely using any tools or any time really. We have even more advanced tools available. If you head over to the catalog page, you'll be able to find generative tools such as GenErase and GenSwap. And we've also got merge tools such as focus stacking and panorama stitching. Depending on the type of photography you do, you may want to take a look at those tools. So as mentioned at the start of the video, you can actually use Luminar Neo as a plugin for Lightroom and Photoshop. So inside of Lightroom here, I can right click on the image and you can see here we've got a Luminar Neo section with a lot of options, but I'm going to edit a copy with Lightroom adjustments, and then that will upload the photo to Luminar Neo and open it up in a separate window. So this isn't the full Luminar Neo, so you will see that there's no catalog at the top of the screen here. I'm going to go to edit and let's just quickly apply the enhance tool. All I need to do is click the apply option at the top of the screen, and that will process. And then heading back over to Lightroom, you'll see that that now has been applied to the photo inside of Lightroom. So I'm inside of Photoshop here, and what I need to do is head up to filter in the toolbar at the top of the screen and go down to Skylum software, which is Luminar Neo, and give that a click. And that will then again open up Luminar Neo in a separate window. Give that a bit of time. Again, you can see that there's no catalog option. It is only open for this particular photo. And again, we'll apply some changes just really quickly here. This image has already been edited, but we'll go ahead and click apply. And heading back over to Photoshop, you can see that those changes have now been added. There's also another place that we can make use of Luminar Neo as a plugin, and that is Photos for Mac. And using this circle with the 3 dots in the middle, we can then click on Luminar Neo, and that's going to open this up as a plugin. So we can go in here. Obviously this image is already edited, but just for the example, let's go and apply the enhance tool. Do this quickly, and then this time we need to click on Save Changes at the top of the screen, and then that will then apply those changes to the photo inside of Photos for Mac. You can also send a photo over to an application, right click on it, and there you can see we've got Photoshop, Lightroom and Photos available. Give that a click and wait for it to open up. And there you see it's now open up inside of Photoshop as a TIFF file. So now that we've finished with the editing of our images, it's time to get on with the export. So I'm going to head up to File and then Export, and then I can select where I wish to save my image first. And then underneath you've got all of these different options. So based on what you wish to do with your photo, if you wish to share it online, then there are different options available for you. And even if you wish to actually print your image, there are other options for you, such as your color spacing and your format. So it's completely up to you what you do here based on what you wish to do with the photo. For me, I'm going to do this like I'm sharing it online. So resolution 300, and then I can bring the quality right down, because if I keep it at 100, the file size is going to be huge. Top right, it says it's 85 megabytes originally. So I'm going to bring the quality right down, but it's still going to be suitable enough for sharing it online or uploading to my website, say for example. And then there we go. I'll just open this up now. And as you can see, I brought the quality right down because I'm not printing it. It's going out on the internet, say for example. And if I zoom in, you can see that the quality still looks really sharp and really good. If you want to get even more from your new photo editing software, why not check out Luminar Neo's X membership? Not only does it come with a huge selection of presets and LUTs, but plenty of other benefits too. You can use your membership to learn from photography experts to help elevate your skills, or make use of the exclusive discounts from assets and the marketplace. It's also your ticket into exclusive webinars, events, and much more. If you are just interested in picking up more presets and assets, head over to the marketplace where you can find everything from presets, overlays, skies, LUTs, bundles, and much more. All to help you enhance your images even further, all with a simple click. All of this can be found either on our website or inside of the Luminar app itself. Head up to extras at the top of the screen and you'll be able to find all of the assets available, plus access to the X membership. So there we go, that is our guide to Luminar Neo, and as I mentioned before, make sure you check out every single tool available to see which ones work with your style of photography and photo editing, and also make sure you take a look at every single one of those AI tools, because not only are they very creative and allow you to have a lot of fun and freedom with your photo editing process, they also save you a great deal of time as well, so really worth checking out. If you want to find out more information about the tools within Luminar Neo or photography in general, check out the other videos on our YouTube channel or head over to the website where we have a blog that can help you improve your photography. On the website, you'll also be able to find the Luminar Neo guide and how to use it. But that's all from me. I will see you in the next one. Goodbye.